Hello, and welcome to The Lab, a Minecraft podcast where we explore, theorize, and all other stuff whatever Miner usually says. I don't have the script. Yes, as you can guess, I am not Miner Thoughts. I am Troj. And today I am running solo. So Miner has been very, very busy with work. I've got other things on. We can't record at our normal time frame. We haven't been able to cross paths in our schedule. So it's just me this week. So mine has done a whole lot of solo ones last year with his Minecraft rant and also with this year with building in Minecraft. So I thought, you know what? How about I take a few minutes to have a vent of my own, but only in a constructive way. Only in a constructive way. We're going to talk about something today that is probably relevant to every Minecraft player. And that is inventory. And if you've listened to the podcast for a little while, you will know that I have talked about inventory for the longest time. And over my time playing Minecraft, especially in the last 12 months, as my build has got bigger, my inventory has got more of a problem. And I've sort of seen a few ways that potentially that could be fixed. So what we're going to talk about today is just, I think, 4 or 5 ideas that I have, and maybe start the conversation down in the comments section or over on Discord, where perhaps you guys, what you think of the ideas, what you could build upon, and get the constructive ideas flowing. Now, let's talk about the first idea that I have, and this is one that I've said on my live stream pretty regularly. And it's just strange that I'm actually more nervous doing this solo than I usually am with Miner. I don't know why. Anywho, for those that have been following me over on Twitch, I'm currently building a custom mountain that I have designed in Creative and bringing over using Lightmatica, and I'm building it layer by layer on the Interrealms SMP server. And to say that the block variation in this mountain is extreme, It is, there's so many variety of blocks, particularly as it gets bigger. And we look into like where the cracks are and there's shading on the mountain and whatnot. You're turning into different sort of blocks that you wouldn't usually expect. In fact, when you get up close and personal to this mountain, it looks like block vomit. But from afar, it actually looks really, really, really good. And that's the thing. It's designed to be looked at from afar. However, the problem is the inventory can't handle what I'm doing. It's not big enough. And the thing is, you got to remember, the Minecraft inventory has been as it is for the longest time, the absolute longest time. And even just since when I started playing, so I started playing just at the end of 1.15, whatever that last release was, just before 1.16 came out. And just in that time alone, the amount of blocks that have been added to the game and the items and whatnot has been immense. So they've added more options to the inventory, but they haven't adjusted the inventory to make it work. And so what I'm finding at the moment, now I will bear in mind that we on Interrealms, we do have the item swapper mod that Azuma uses, and I think was champion. I don't know whether he made it or not, but he's definitely one of the main proponents of it. And so that's helping with the pick block out of shulker boxes and whatnot. But even with that ability, it's still tough to get all the items and block variations I need in my inventory, and especially not in big enough quantities without me having to get through to part of a layer, go fly to where my storage is all set up, get some more or change some blocks over and then go back. So I think the simplest solution, short term at the least, could be just adding another inventory row. Just as you are putting in extra items into the game, give us more room in our inventory to handle it. Now, the pros of this is you're going to get more space without needing to carry storage items early game. And particularly in like when you are in the early phase, when you're going from spawn and you're out into the world, and you haven't got your base set up, you haven't got your location set up yet, it's very, very easy to fill your inventory very, very quickly with just starter items, particularly as you're going around looking for where your starter base is going to be. So, and particularly now, with even more things coming through. So just that one extra row, those extra 9 slots or whatever it is, could make a massive, massive difference. I think it would also, another pro of it, it's going to balance progression without breaking the challenge of it. And, you know, it's not a massive game-changing feature, just giving us more space. And in fact, it makes sense. More items, more space. And I guess the other part of it, if you think about it, it makes the exploration / building feel smoother. You know, as I just said, you know, you're out exploring, especially in the early game, in those early days, it's giving you more space to collect all the bits and pieces as you go around. And then again, when you're building, it's going to feel smoother because you don't have to go back and forth to change what's in your inventory, especially if you're doing a build with great variation. And that's the thing with building these days as well. Block variation is becoming more and more a thing as people learn shading and gradients and all these sort of things. Block variations and the amount of blocks needed to do a build is increasing. No longer do we just need cobblestone and spruce wood. We need cobblestone, stone, gravel, etc., etc., etc. Now, are there any cons to having another inventory row? I mean, the user interface would probably need to be adjusted a bit, whether that's a con or what, I don't know. Potentially, it could reduce the urgency of going to get shulker boxes. You're going to need shulker boxes regardless at some stage, but maybe it reduces the urgency to get into the end. Whether that's a con or what, I'm not sure. And I know I talked about balance, but the flip side of that, and we're going to look at both, obviously, every idea that I've got, I'm trying to look at it, you know, play the devil's advocate as well. Would it alter the early game balance? Because you are able to collect more as you're running around. You don't have to go, oh, that's where that is. Go find your base, then go back and get that thing. Don't know. But I think longer term, particularly as builds get bigger and more detailed, that could be an easy solution to at least assist in some way. Now, while we're talking about our own personal inventory, the UI, one thing that I think would be really good, and the next 2 ideas that I've got are actually taken from another game that I really, really enjoy playing, 7 Days to Die. And how they do inventory is really good. Now, if you haven't played 7 Days to Die, it's a zombie horror survival game. And it's brilliant. It is really, really enjoyable. And you could almost argue that they've got more inventory potential items than Minecraft. Potentially. I don't know the exact, but it's a very similar system. You've got inventory with, you know, squares and whatnot. But they've got a couple of features that I think is really, really good. The first one is lockable inventory slots. So basically, if you put, let's say, wood into an inventory slot, you can lock it. So as you're collecting wood will go into there and nothing else. And that's really, really handy. It's more handy than you think it is. So as an example, as I'm flying around doing this build, you know, and again, we are sort of using a mod. We're using item swapper, which allows me to pick blocks in and out. Item pick of shulker boxes, but you can item pick anyway when it comes to like Matica. You can block pick regardless of the mod. Sometimes if you're not paying attention, your rockets or your pick or your shovel or your food disappears. And if you are using the item swapper mod, it disappears into one of your shulker boxes. And if your inventory is full of shulker boxes, you have to go through all your shulker boxes to find out which one. So, be able to lock slots, I think, would be very, very handy. But also the good thing with that is if you are doing a build and it has got a lot of block variation, in your inventory, you can lock particular slots to particular blocks. That just rolled off the tongue. And what that allows you to do is if you're going down and flying down to your shulker box and you are restocking, you can just pick up, and not worry about the mess that your inventory is becoming. The inventory just becomes more manageable, better, more user-friendly, less in a mess. Because let's face it, when you're doing a build, I don't know or care how good of a builder you are, your inventory is going to become a mess. Now, the pros of lockable inventory slots, it's going to prevent accidental drops like totems, tools, armor, etc., etc. It's going to be great for redstoners, builders, PvPers. It's great for everybody. And potentially, it's down to the client. It's a client-side thing. It's not forcing you to use it. It's just an option that's there. So if you don't want to use it, you don't have to lock any of your inventory slots, but the ability to have it is there. The cons of it, again, it's going to come down to the user interface, I think. Potentially it could complicate it for newer players. Maybe. But however they did it, I think it would need a very clear visual indicator that that item is locked. Now, how they do it in 7 Days to Die is just a little literal lock symbol. One's open, one's closed. When it's locked, it's got the little lock on it. I think it could work, and I think it would be very, very beneficial for many, many classes of player. Now, the other thing that comes out of 7 Days to Die that I think is absolutely brilliant is you've got a couple of buttons. One is sort. Sort your inventory. It goes, bloop. How many times have you been collecting stuff or resource gathering or whatever, and your inventory's become a mess all over the place, and you got multiple items of the same thing? And I know you can get this with, I think it's Mouse Wheelie or something, or even Tweakaroo. You can click a button and sort your inventory, and it just neatens it up and makes it all nice and tidy and etc. That should just be a go-to. That should just be a thing. That should be a vanilla feature. I'm sorry, but it should be. The other part, though, that I really, really like with 7 Days to Die's inventory management is when you go to your storage crates in 7 Days to Die and you open it up, you can press a button and it will automatically take whatever's in the crate. If you've got a duplicate item of that in your inventory and you hit that button, it will take those items from your inventory into that crate and take nothing else. The amount of times, especially if you don't have an automatic item sorter, the amount of times that you go, and I've done this because I'm not running an auto sorter on Interrealms this season. The amount of times that you go and you get this, you put it in here, you go to the next box or the next crate, and barrel or chest, put it here, put it here, put it here, put it here. Just going, open, wood, click, done. It's in. It's had it. It would make managing your inventory and your storage so much easier. And having played it from 7 days, I'm telling you, it is marvelous. It is marvelous. And with 7 days, it works the other way as well. Whatever's in your storage, if you've got it in your inventory, you click and it comes down if you've got duplicate items. Now, you put that with lockable inventory slots. Oh, it's like the angels in heaven burst into song. So I think those three things with inventory sort, quick store, and lockable inventory slots from 7 Days to Die would make such a difference to Minecraft inventory. Now, the pros, obviously, of this is it's a massive time saver for organizing after mining, building, or whatever. You sort by type or store all to nearby chests would improve your flow, your game speed, and less time stuck in your inventory and playing the game. And those sort of things are sort of already common in modded. And, the other tool tips for Shulker box tool tips where you can hover your mouse over it and press a button and you can see what's in the Shulker box. How that is not vanilla, I don't know. I really don't. I think all those things will all add up to make inventory so much better. I guess if there was any cons to those things, some people may feel that it's too automated and take away the authentic Minecraft experience. But let's face it, the more of an inventory problem that we get, the less of this automated, authentic experience we're getting to enjoy because we're spending more time in our inventories, and that's probably not ideal. And, maybe it does reduce the challenge of managing your supplies manually. But again, the more items they add, the bigger it is of a challenge to manage the supplies manually. So I don't know. And I think the last little thing, there's one more idea I'd like to see implemented, and there's another thing that I'd like to see made vanilla from a mod. So the first one's backpacks. And I think, we've sort of got, what are they called, bundles now? And sort of technically that's a lot of similar, but I would still like to see a backpack added to the game. And it doesn't need to be something fancy like the, I can't even think of what it's called off the top of my head. There's a couple of mods from the backpacks one. But I think just simple backpacks where you can get a leather backpack and you can upgrade it to, iron, gold, diamond, netherite just for extra space. I think that would be perfect. You don't need the other ones where you can add different features like crafting tables and all that sort of jazz to it. Just a simple backpack. And maybe that's the solution. To give us one extra row is give us a backpack. Give us a backpack. To balance that though, maybe it has to go on the chest plate slot. So just where you've got the decision to make, or whether you wear a chest plate or you wear elytra, then you would have the balance of it of, okay, I can't wear my elytra, but I'm going to wear my backpack. And maybe when you wear your backpack, that's when it opens up that extra slot of inventory. Match the two up. But you've got the downside is you've got less armor on and you don't have the ability to fly. So I think that would balance it out quite well. I guess the cons of it is, and this is sort of the same thing when it comes to the bundles. They sort of become redundant rather quickly once you've got the shulker boxes. So I think it may need to offer special features to balance it. I don't know. What do you guys think? And maybe it could reduce that early game inventory pressure too much. But then, I really come back to if it's at how you access that extra slot of inventory, I'm actually okay with that. And the last thought that I had was there is a mod called Shulker Plus that hasn't been updated in a little while, unfortunately, but it makes shulker boxes so much more usable, user-friendly. You can name them with an item on an anvil and it puts that item on it so you can see what's on the top. So you can actually see what's in a shulker box really, really easily. And I think that should be a vanilla feature as well. That's not really your personal inventory. That's more a storage thing, but I think that's going to help immensely. But really, they're the ideas that I've had, very, very simple ideas that I think could really go a long way to helping out fixing the inventory problem that we have in Minecraft. Which of these would you want in vanilla Minecraft? Should Mojang keep inventory management simple, or should it go all in with these quality of life features? And I would really love to hear your ideas. So you can obviously leave a comment down below if you so like on the YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave your comments there. What are your own ideas? What do you think of my ideas that I put forward? Would love to hear them. Or you can tweet at us on Twitter/X at mclab_podcast. And if you do that, make sure you're using the hashtag #FixMinecraftInventory. Let's see if we can get that moving a little bit, shall we? The other ways that you can reach out to us is obviously through the email address, which you can find down below in the show notes. And also, obviously, you can head over to the Discord, the Interrealms SMP Discord. Again, the link is below. You can talk to us in real time there. There's always someone there. There's always someone to have a chat to. Would love to hear your ideas. But with that, I hope you've enjoyed this little solo Troj outing. Hopefully next week, Miner will be back, and he and I will get back right into it. We've been dying to talk about the latest drop information that we got for what's coming out, and that very strange flying gas thing that we've got coming through. But with that, thank you for joining me today on the Lab, a Minecraft podcast, and we will see you very soon.
This has been a production of the Interrealms Podcast Network. For more information, go to podcast.com. shulkerplus.interrealmssmp.com. You can see that full link in the description of this episode. Thank you for listening.